Hello, and thank you for joining our presentation behind the scenes of the YouthMappers movement. So today we will be explaining the challenges that we faced in implementing and organizing virtual activities, and then the solutions, how we overcame those solutions through activities in the YouthMappers network. We welcome you all to join us in this discussion by being a part of a live Twitter discussion where you will share about challenges that you faced in participating in organizing activities or solutions that you found in order to do online activities. So if you would like to be a part of that Twitter discussion, just tag YouthMappers and we will reshare your tweet, and then we will also, maybe one of the panelists will respond to you. And now I would like all of the panelists to introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, I'm Feye Andal from the Philippines, and I'm currently serving as the Regional Ambassador for YouthMappers. I've been involved in YouthMappers since 2018 as I co-founded the second local chapter in the Philippines. I am also a volunteer of OpenStreetMap Philippines since 2013. Passing it over to Chomba.
Hi everyone, my name is Chomba here in Zambia. As our former YouthMapper Region Ambassador for Southern Africa, and an alumni as well as a former president for YouthMappers at the University of Zambia. I can say also like Freya, I'm one of the founder. Yeah, and good to see everyone here, and I'll pass it on to Maria.
Thanks, Chomba. Hi, everyone. I am Maria Fernanda Peña from Medellin, Colombia. I've been part of YouthMappers since 2017, and I served as a regional ambassador in Latin America from 2019 until a couple of weeks ago. Well, many thanks for joining us today, and I'm passing to Dara.
Thank you all, and I'm Dara Carney-Nedelman. I work as YouthMappers Communications Specialist. And now I'd like to give a short introduction to the YouthMappers Network if you are unfamiliar with it. So YouthMappers is a university network of students and faculty that create and use open geospatial data to directly address development challenges around the globe. We're formed of a network of 291 universities in 62 countries. And since we have 3 former and present regional ambassadors here speaking today, I'd like to explain our regional ambassador cohort. So the regional ambassadors are really the voices in the field. They represent the YouthMappers network around the globe. And there's an outreach section which focuses on supporting and growing the network. And there is a section through the Everywhere She Maps program that focuses on supporting and including women in the YouthMappers network. As far as some quick aspects and programs for YouthMappers, we have the Everywhere She Maps program, again, supporting women and including them in the geospatial community, the Fieldwork Grant, which is a grant in order to do field work, and the Academy, which is open to YouthMappers members, a virtual platform to grow and build their geospatial skills. We also offer fellowships, and then there's several mapping campaigns. So if you'd like to learn more about YouthMappers, you can visit our website to learn more, and we'll share that at the end of the presentation. And now I would like to hand it off to Feye to give you a perspective from her experiences in the Philippines.
Thank you, Dara. In the Philippines, we have experienced a lot of challenges because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And one of its direct impacts on us is the disruption to physical activities, including our recruitment to student organizations and universities, and the hosting of mapathons and OSM trainings. And there are some advantages of shifting to online settings, such as the accessibility of online trainings and materials, saving time, money, and effort, but we still encounter various challenges as the transition to a new environment has not been easy. First, as we shift to virtual activities to establish community connections and build the students' open mapping skills, we had to think on how we engage with the students. Our current setup forced us to be more creative and resourceful when organizing and conducting our remote learning activities. So we actually came up with hosting mapping competitions, adding some games and icebreaker activities in between the workshops to make our sessions more engaging, interactive, and fun. We also sent out prizes and swags as a way of gratitude to our participants. The next major challenge I've encountered is that I have observed that students tend to get shy and quiet during virtual group mapathons. I initiated one-on-one tutorial sessions with students and volunteers as a way to address this issue. Through these tutorials, I also get to know what types of challenges they face and how they were able to resolve them. Another common issue is unequal access to reliable internet connections and the right technology. Not all communities in the Philippines have equal access to a stable internet connection and the right technology and tools. For instance, some students had some difficulties accessing the tasking manager because of the bandwidth and hardware limitations, or they couldn't even connect to the internet. Therefore, this could influence our students' and volunteers' performance and learning outcomes. One solution is to offer alternative ways of learning the tools and technology, like sending out learning materials that do not require high bandwidth to support learning. Now, passing it over to Chomba to talk about his experiences in Zambia.
Okay, going to talk about also perspective from here in Zambia, how we've been dealing with the challenges that COVID-19 pandemic has come with. And indeed, this is a global problem that everyone is facing wherever you are in the world. One of the things that I've been trying to do is to stay connected as youth mappers. You should also um, agree with me to say COVID-19 has disconnected us a lot as human beings because most of the physical meetings have been suspended. So as youth mappers here in Zambia, I've been trying by all means that we stay connected to one another so that we become active in every activities that youth mappers is trying to bring across. So one thing is most of the universities were closed, others opened, others did not open depending on the kind of institution where you're coming from. So that brought a lot of challenges on how can we be together in one, how can we move together. In order to make sure that each and every student is connected, we introduced what we used to call weekly mapathons and trainings so that students are connected, do not leave, so that we should not leave anyone behind. And those online mapathons had a lot of challenges in terms of connectivity. A lot of students did not have internet or data that they can connect themselves to into these online meetings. It was a challenge because the student also they were learning online, so it was the student have to choose between learning online and participating on online mapathons that we used to carry on the trainings. So the solution to that was that um, we used to give them a small amount of data that can last for them maybe for having a 3 hours training or a mapathons. We'll try by all means to provide internet to students that want to participate or mappers that want to participate in our programs for mapping. As much as this worked very well, we had challenges, especially during the trainings. You find that students will not move at the same pace when you're training because in some regions the internet might trip and students might get frustrated and they might drop off. So we got to know that after one of the meetings, we used to maybe ask the student to submit the challenges that they're facing through on online platforms that we used to host. And some of them came out to say when they're in the large group, like maybe if you are in the mapathons or in the training of 15 people, it is very hard for them to move at the same pace. So what usually is to do is to make sure that we follow them or we create a small group or an online small meeting where you now maybe having 3 or 4, 5 people in the meeting and then you move at the same pace when you're training them. This also helped because it was in this, it is a very small a number of people. So even if someone is has remained behind, it is very difficult for them to catch up, because you can try all by all means to go back if the internet tripped. So that's what we used to do. Apart from that, I think we connected most of the students to other opportunities that are there, so that can even outsource some fundings for their data, like interns, paid internship. Other students are also doing a paid internship with humanitarian OpenStreetMap, encouraging students to take part in such kind of an online internship, so that at the end of the day they stay connected to each and every activities that is happening on online. We also have to encourage them to take part in other activities, such as JIS trainings that are happening online. We encourage the student to take part into YouthMappers Academy, an online academy, so that they can scale up their skills. I think the other thing is, we as a community, also in the RSM Zambia, we used to host events that will try to inspire and call people, that will inspire students to push on in the midst of the COVID-19. And I think during these years, the times a student might come into the universities, I think students used to come into the universities at intervals. Maybe first year will be in the university, and then the second year. So those that are in university will try by all means maybe to visit them and have these small meetings, so that they do not lose the zeal. So that's how we've been staying active as youth mappers here in Zambia. Yes, and I'll pass it on now to my friend Maria.
Okay, so thanks, Chomba. So I don't know how familiar you are with Latin America, but it is a vast region, of course geographical, but more than that, it is a cultural region. We have many things in common due to our history. One of those things is language. We are more than 20 countries, independent territories, where most of us speak Spanish as the main language, with the exception of countries like Brazil, whose main language is Portuguese. However, both languages have many similarities. We, the regional ambassador of this part of our beautiful and diverse planet, we noticed some challenges within the YouthMappers community. First, Latin America, as I mentioned it, is a vast territory, and it was necessary to find the space for meeting, interaction, and communication around the YouthMappers community. The second, as YouthMappers, we work with geomatics. And as I think you know, it's a constantly growing set of integrated science. New tools and methodologies using different disciplines are developed every day. One way to be at the forefront is by knowing the work of other people, not only learning new techniques, but also their application in different scenarios that we might be sharing with other people. And third, many times students do not feel the freedom to participate in many learning spaces as Feye mentioned it, because sometimes they feel like they do not have enough knowledge, maybe. And I know that because I've been there many times. So we thought, how can we face these challenges, knowing that we have all of these virtual tools? So we started the Cafecito con Youth Mappers initiative. It means coffee with youth mappers. It is a virtual space for learning and discussion, where the youth mappers community in Latin America, both students and professors, and anyone who wants to join us, is welcome to share with other members about projects, works, or methodologies. It is in a conversational format, like having a coffee with friends. So it's like, hey, I'm doing this right now, or I did this, I use these tools, I was facing this problem or this challenge, and you could do this, you could try that. Maybe you feel free to ask questions. So, well, right now we've had 2 official seasons. The first one was the last semester. We had 6 sessions, and the second season this semester with 3 sessions. The last one, I want to highlight it because it was a roundtable with all the chapters from Latin America. So we had the chance to meet each other and to know what we were working on. And we still have many things to do better, but we started and it has been a great experience right now. So I'm passing to Dara again.
Thank you all. I would like to share about a challenge that I have faced as someone who manages and supports communications for the network, and that I've seen chapters face is promoting the events on virtual platforms, because you can't see a friend at lunch and ask them to join the mapathon or see them walking from class to class. So the tools that we utilized for the network was a public Google calendar in order to share about the chapter events, and then partner events. We would share the registration details and YouthMappers could learn about it from there. We also used internal communications and then social media. In order to share about the activities on social media, there were several platforms that we found beneficial. First, Eventbrite was great as a one-stop shop in order to share registration details and then collect attendees' information to inform them how to attend the event. And then we used Canva in order to create flyers to advertise and promote the event. And then obviously several social media platforms to share about the events. And then there were video platforms and actually implementing and having the virtual activity. And finally, we found YouTube to be a great resource in order to take the recording from the training, the webinar, and share it so that those who weren't able to join the session, either they weren't able to make it or they had internet connection, they could still benefit from the session afterwards. So that concludes our presentation. If you would like to learn more about YouthMappers, you can take your phone and take a picture of this QR code and you'll find links to our social media and our website. So thank you all for joining us to learn about behind the scenes of the YouthMappers network. And now we will open it up for questions.